So, welcome to the June 2022 edition of What I've Been Writing With Lately. This is the monthly video in which I talk about the pens and pencils that I've been using this month. It's not a set of reviews or recommendations. These are just the pens and pencils that I've been using. It's usually determined by kind of what's going on in my life, and you get a really varied set of pens, especially on a month like this where I'm kind of running around a lot, spending a lot less time at my desk than I might normally would. You'll see less fountain pens, more portable stuff, maybe more pencils, depending on kind of what's been going on. Anyway, let's jump right into it. First of all, you'll see this. This is the Troika tool pen. One of the most common questions we get at Unsharpen, or I get at Unsharpen, particularly on the website, has been, what's the best tool pen? What's a pen I should buy if I want to have some tools in it, whatever. And I bought a few pens to kind of test them out before I did any sort of recommendation there. So it's not really something I have a lot of experience with. And my favorite one so far is this one. It's called the Troika tool pen. It's easy to find on Amazon. It sells for about $29 or so. I'm sure it's sold a lot of other places, but again, it's easy to find on Amazon. And this is a full brass body, so it has a nice weight to it. And that's like largely why the price is $30 as opposed to being like $15 or something like that. Brass body. It has two screwdrivers, so your Phillips head, your flat, and your Phillips right there. A spirit level right here, or also known as a bubble level. Then it has a stylus, so a capacitive stylus that would work with a phone or a tablet. Obviously, there's a black ballpoint pen here. That's the kind of the point of it. And then there are 4 rulers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like centimeters, inches, and then 1/50th of a meter, and then 1/20th of a meter. So scaled centimeter rulers. It's really a nice, smooth writer. When I was buying these tool pens and looking at them, I didn't really expect any of them to be, fun to use or particularly comfortable or really smooth. This one has a really nice, smooth black ballpoint refill that I actually really do enjoy writing with. And holding it is nice. It has a sort of a Rotring 600 type feel to it because it has that hexagonal body. Obviously, it's lacquered brass, just like the Rotring. So the Troika tool pen, I've been using this one a fair bit more than I expected, given I kind of thought it'd be more about the tool, but I've actually been enjoying using this one. Next up is this pen. This is called the the SA-R. And it's a very plain, kind of old-fashioned pen from Mitsubishi. And you'll see it has that sort of, I don't even know what to call it, maybe an 80s vibe, late 90s vibe, early 90s vibe, something like that. But this is sort of the pen you would have seen kind of a long time ago, 20, 30 years ago. And hard plastic body. They kind of always had this sort of plastic knurling here. They always had a sort of skinny, long ballpoint refill. And, it just a very solid, reliable pen that has a design that dates back to, a different point in history. But it's a okay writer. I wouldn't say it's like an exceptional writer, but very reliable. And this thing will last for years of writing. So it's the sort of pen you'd throw in your car or backpack and just always have handy. And a lot of people ask about these, and they're easy to find. Not specifically this one, as I had never seen this one before, the SA-R. See if we could make that out. I had never seen this one before, but there are many pens like this, like the sort of like a Bic Click stick is not that far off, but there is, Pilot has a few pens like this, Zebra has a few pens like this, and sooner or later, once I can kind of get my description down and come up with a good list of them, I want to do a video about them, but it's kind of all over the place right now. I've been slowly collecting these types of clear plastic with this plastic knurling, and I don't know, these are just kind of interesting pens, but again, I wouldn't even know what category to put them in. But there's a few of them out there. When you put them next to each other, they look exactly alike. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I've been using them a fair bit. not this one specifically, but whenever you buy these, so they always come in like a 15 or 20 pack. So I have more of these around than I'd like to admit. Next up, in place of a fountain pen, I haven't really been using too many fountain pens this month. I've been using this one. This is a Tombow Zoom 2000, one of my favorite pens from Tombow, and one of the coolest roller balls ever made. It has a full metal body, has these really cool shapes here, kind of like carved out of there. It is a roller ball. It does have a cap, as a kind of a oddly short little cap. Really nice click in action. I have a nice wide fountain pen, like I'll admit, roller ball in here. It is a Tombow. They use a proprietary roller ball, but this one's really smooth, and it's like a 1.0, so a very large roller ball, big, bold writing, and I've been enjoying this one a lot. I think this is one of the coolest pens Tombow has ever made, and one of my favorite roller balls of all time. I've tried to get other pens in this series, the Zoom 2000, and they've gotten very hard to find. I've been trying to pick up the ballpoint for a while now, and it's all but disappeared. So yeah, I've been using this one when I'm kind of doing more considered writing, and have some time thinking through things. Maybe you'd pull out a fountain pen to do your journaling or whatever, that sort of thing. And I've been grabbing this Tombow Zoom 2000. Really, this is a pen I kind of pull out of my desk every couple months or whatever, and always enjoy when I'm using it. So it's the Zoom 2000 Rollerball. Talked about this one many times. This is the Zebra Sarasa R. This is just a great everyday gel pen, and lately it's been my favorite kind of everyday gel pen. For a while it was different Sarasas, and for a while it was an Energel, or maybe before the Sarasa was the Energel. Lately, when I need something that's fun to use and very reliable, and say you're going out, but you're gonna have to do a lot of writing, or you're going on a quick trip and you don't want to carry a lot of pens. You carry 2 or 3 pens in your bag. I'll always include, at least lately, a Sarasa R, and that happened to me. Had to go away for a bit, and I grabbed the Sarasa R. I was very glad I did. This one is a great writer, and look how nice and dark that black pigmented ink is. Here is the 2 different pens I wrote with so far. I guess the Troika, and here, this is the Zoom 2000 right here. And the black of that ballpoint looks positively gray compared to the Sarasa R. And then this one, not quite as dark, but the Tombow makes up for it by having a very thick line. This is a 0.5 millimeter. The Tombow is closer to they call it a 0.7, but it's actually closer to a millimeter. And you could see those 2 lines next to each other. So yeah, great pen. Talked about it many, many times, so I'll keep it short. Highly recommend this Sarasa R. This is another pen I've talked about many times, but that's kind of what this video is about. It's the pens and pencils I'm using. So this is a Pilot Precise. I mean, it's not the Precise, but it's essentially the same as the Precise. It's called the Pilot High-Tech Point V5, and this is the High-Tech Point is just the Japanese version of the Precise, but this is the cartridge version, which means it has a fountain pen-like cartridge. And I have a bunch of these in 0.7, but I realized I didn't have any 0.5s lying around, so I picked a couple. You could see I've taken a pretty good chunk out of it, because I've been using this one a fair bit. These are just like really great writers, a lot of fun. I like that they're refillable, and they have one of my favorite needle tips there. And I usually buy these in the 0.7, where it's much wider and wetter, but I bought these in the 0.5, and I've been appreciating the control. They're still pretty smooth and fun to use. This one comes in this cool matte blue paint job, has your fill indicator there, and then has a kind of it's just a plastic clip. I like how it looks with the silver there. And I don't know, just one of those pens that I really think Pilot just did a fantastic job designing this one, and I always enjoy and appreciate the high-tech points. Like I said, I've had to do some running around this month. So it's always nice to have a pocketable pen handy for that. And this Fisher telescoping pen is one of my favorites. Very small, super fun to play with. You could pop it out, put it back. When you pull it out, the front comes out, and then it expands to be basically a full-size pen. Not exactly, not quite full size, but pretty close. And quite comfortable to use. And then when you're done, you just push this back. You see it there. Push it back. And click it rather. And it's locked in. It doesn't come out on its own, so that's quite nice. And has a nice heavy weight to it. I think it seems like it's aluminum, but there's probably some brass or something in there to weight it down, which it definitely has some heft. And then inside you have a Fisher Space Pen refill, which is clearly one of the refills we've talked about the most on this channel over the years. This one is quite smooth. Not all the Fisher refills write exactly the same. This one seems to be in the prime of its life, and nice, smooth black. And this one will write on pretty much anything, which I really appreciate when you're on the go. Maybe you have to, I don't know, fill out a form or write on something that's plastic or whatever, and the Fisher refill is always going to be ready to go. The pen's a little small, but if you're not doing a lot of writing, that's not a problem at all, and it's fun to play with, but you always will mark up your fingers, and a lot of times you get marks over here just because when you're opening it, it's short, and it can kind of touch your palm like that, which is a little annoying, but pretty minor in the scheme of things. And we'll see what refill I have in there. It is a Fisher refill, of course, and then this one is, standard PR4 black medium, and these are dated, so this is a pretty old one from February 2007 and still writes great. Sometimes these things will be 20, 30 years old, and they'll still write nicely, as this one does. And then lastly, I've been using some pencils this month, kind of just, jotting down some thoughts or kind of doing work outside or what have you. And I didn't want to bring all the pencils I've been using, or sometimes I'm not very thoughtful about which ones I'm using, and I just grab whatever's around. But I always kind of return to the Musgrave Tennessee Red Cedar. It is a higher end pen, so they're a little bit less affordable than some of the other ones I would use, but has a great smell to it. You get that natural cedar look. So this is like kind of a typical cedar, and this one's a lot lighter, but the wood is sometimes more blonde, sometimes more red, and they just match them up, and that's what you get. So it has a great smell, and it is a solid writer. I don't think it's particularly exceptional as a writer, but it's definitely on the higher quality side. But I buy these more so I like how they look, and I like to kind of appreciate that it's made out of a real wood product, where a lot of pencils these days, obviously it's a wooden pencil, it's made out of wood, but you don't really get the appreciation from it because it's just sort of nondescript. Whereas this Tennessee Red Cedar is very much feels like a real wood product, and every time you sharpen it, you could smell that cedar. Yeah, so they're good writers and just cool pencils. So I think that's pretty much it for this month. Been very little as far as the higher end stuff goes. Some portable items, and then these three are just sort of classics that I use all the time. Probably getting tired of hearing about, and then some stuff for upcoming projects. That pretty much sums it up. Thanks for watching.